The EV market, interesting topic. It's a lot of skeptics around the world. Where can I charge my battery? And the charging station doesn't work. And I've experienced it myself. I drive an electric car, and I've been driving petrol cars for many years. And it's still early days. It's still early days. But I believe the way the electric market will change is, first of all, we need to start offering the right solutions in the right segments. Will every VW owner switch to electric within 2 years? I'm not entirely sure yet. But if we can create these lightweight mobility solutions, and lightweight means also less battery capacity, because battery is expensive, and batteries will be expensive probably for the next 5 to 10 years. So we need to think of different ways of making that battery technology available, but also making it lighter. And that you can only do by making the vehicle lighter. We went on that mission to create the perfect electric motor for that market segment. Taking the L3 vehicle category, we believe that that market will grow to 50 million units annually at a global level. That's very lightweight motorcycles at around 11 kilowatts. We have the solution ready for that, and we can engineer it into vehicles for clients today. And we're ready to go. From there, I think where the market will go is autonomous vehicles, and that still feels very scary. But looking back at history, going back to like the early 1900s, you need a motor, you need a gearbox, you need drive shafts, you need to bring that rotational power to the wheels. If your motor is a pancake shape, you can package that motor into a wheel. And yes, it's not very good on potholes, but not every country around the world has potholes. If we look at city applications, and you imagine a pod that drives only at 30 miles an hour, and our technology is in the wheel. So the 4 wheels are Saietta drive wheels. And we can drive electric, but we can also brake electric and put all of that energy back into the battery. You delete the gearbox, you delete the drive system, you delete so many components from the vehicle, and also it creates a flat floor. So that allows you to construct the battery much cheaper and as low as possible in the vehicle. So I strongly believe that electric drive tech belongs in the wheel. We can't deliver that tomorrow. We need time to grow towards that, and that's why we focus first on electric motorcycles and more longer term on autonomous vehicles with in-wheel drive solutions. The market and autonomous vehicles, we feel very strongly as a team that autonomous vehicles is the future. And the computing power is pretty much ready for it. Google is already driving around here in the UK, in Milton Keynes. Huge pilots are happening. But a lot of these vehicles that they are testing are still conventional vehicles. So they have a powertrain, they have a transmission, they have drive shafts. Where we see a very, very strong opportunity for Saietta is to create the in-wheel motor. So we take the actual flux, we've already proven that we can bring it down to a price where nobody can get to. It's suitable for low voltage, so it's safe, and it packages really nicely in a wheel. We will demonstrate that in 2021, but we believe that once the market, and especially the vehicle manufacturers, understand how much a vehicle cost will reduce by switching the drive technology into the wheel, the level of freedom for the software to then drive those vehicles with four-wheel steer, four-wheel brake, that's the direction of travel that we believe in. First of all, they need to be vehicle manufacturers. We like to talk to the OEMs themselves. Very often they then recommend tier 1 suppliers that they would like us to talk to, because ultimately that's where they want to buy the full electric drive solution. But the point is, and especially now in 2020, we have actually started production. The motors are still being made by hand, but the base model that we now have in production is the AFT 140. It's around 11 to 15 kilowatts. The applications are very versatile. So, status where we are is that the technology is proven. We have been testing rigorously and collected hundreds of thousands of miles of testing hours, and the motor didn't miss a beat. Production has started, and we're creating healthy revenues. So my vision for this company is essentially 3 solid revenue streams, and that will support the expansion plans that we have. The first revenue stream, what we've learned over the years is that vehicle manufacturers, they need support. They don't necessarily know how to electrify their vehicles. They already know how to make millions of motorcycles, but they don't really know what battery to select or what power to select or how the regulations are changing in the coming years. So that's what we call electric drive solutions. That's our engineering services division. And from that division, we can support clients with vehicle simulation, prototyping, tailoring, so we can tailor the design of the motor to fit in their application and work with their suspension, work with their battery. We can even prototype it. We can even put it into a vehicle and create a demo vehicle for like a board meeting. That's what we call electric drive solutions, and that work has already started, and that's where we already create healthy revenues. The other part of the vision for Saietta is to, of course, create production capability. A lot of our clients, they need motors and they need them tomorrow. We can rapid prototype motors, but we've also learned that a lot of these vehicle manufacturers, they just want a reliable supplier for pretty much their electric drive solution. We are creating that production capacity here in the UK to the level of 100,000 units per year. Here from the UK, we will make motors. Essentially, it will be client motors, but it's also a process definition plant. So, because our topology supports fully automated assembly, we will be investing heavily into robots and proving that your motor variant can be made on that specific assembly line with those specific robots. We can even support on the certification side to basically make sure that by the time you receive your first 10 or 20,000 motors for your application, you almost can pick up the factory in a factory and move it to any factory around the world. And that we believe, I mean, our ambition level is not 100,000 motors per year. Our ambition level is millions of motors per year. So the second revenue stream that we are focusing on with the entire team is how once the engineering services is completed, you've had your prototype vehicle, it of course is very important to create manufacturing capacity within the Saietta group. We are aiming initially for 100,000 units per year. We're already working on it to basically not only define how to make the motor, but also to prove the process with high automation. We're on track to deliver that volume. So the third revenue stream, which we originally didn't plan, but what we learned while talking to our clients is that everybody is desperate to get their product into the market as quickly as possible. That requires, of course, effective engineering, which we do with EDS. You, of course, have to make the motors to then build your vehicles and sell your vehicles. But the other thing that a lot of people forget is the amount of testing that is required to then prove that the product is robust. For that, we are within the Saietta group creating a durability test center. We're already talking to potential partners about that. And what we've learned is that for various reasons over the last 5 years, all of the test centers around the world are fully booked. You can't get in. And a lot of these test centers have no experience with testing electric motors. So what we see is that the electric motor manufacturers tend to create the test capability themselves. If you look at the revenues that you can create with it, it's very high margin business. So we've decided as a board to adopt that within the group. Yeah, so what we have to focus on and where we have to invest as quickly as possible is, first of all, we need to expand the portfolio. We have a very scalable product, and we need to expand that portfolio and claim the IP that comes with it. All of this is prepared, we're ready to go. The next thing, of course, is the production capability. That's capital intense. You need those robots. You need to prove that you can make the motors for a certain price, and we need to prove that as quickly as possible. So that's where a significant investment must be made. We need to do this with people. Business is people. And we have a fantastic team, but we have to grow the team, and we need to find those high quality people, and they are in high demand. So expanding the team to deliver the plan is key. And then the last one, that's a recent addition, is that we must create that test center because our client wants it. They are willing to pay for it, but for them it's important to get into production as quickly as possible. And without that test center right next to our company, we can't guarantee time to market. So those 4 things: portfolio expansion with new patents, production capability, people, expand the team substantially, and having our own test center to reduce time to market. Well, that's one of the final decisions left to make. Where are we going to make these motors? There is a preference. There's a very clear preference. Saietta started in the UK. This is one of the most creative areas on the planet. I mean, talking to a minister recently, the UK feel that they're very good at the R and not at the D. I actually disagree with that. I believe the UK, just like Germany, is very good at research and development and production. Our preference would be here. We have all of our R&D activity here in Oxfordshire, right next to the M40, the motorway. We have a fantastic air hangar that can be turned into a durability test center. And for team collaboration, I always strongly believe that you need your R&D and your testing and your production in one location. However, through the EIS scheme, I have a lot of investors, I have a lot of stakeholders, and I must guarantee the best return of investment. We are talking to the UK government, and it's going very well. Our relationship with the UK government is fantastic. The investment opportunities in the UK with the EIS scheme, as I explained to the minister the other day, it's the best scheme on the planet. That's why all of these startups are coming to the UK, because this is the best environment. What we now need to do in the next couple of years is mature that into full-size production, preferably from here. But we have to make that decision before April next year, because time is money and the clock is ticking. Of course, we are looking at other regions. There's a lot of counties and countries that want our product to be made in their region. We're open-minded. We will always make the right decision, but our preference is also clear.